I'm in the mood to spill some beauty industry tea, so let's get into it. By the way, I'm KJ Miller. I am a founder, lecturer, and content creator. I love all things business, beauty, and pop culture. If you love any of that, be sure to subscribe. Now let's get to the tea. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to be sharing 3 beauty industry, let's call them secrets, because I don't like gatekeeping. Mention it all, in the words of Bethany Frankel. I'm going to do just that. Beauty industry secret number 1, all of these brands, and I literally mean all of these brands, work with the same manufacturers. The fact of the matter is there are thousands upon thousands of beauty brands. There are not thousands upon thousands of beauty manufacturers. The universe of vendors who manufacture beauty is relatively small, and that means all of us have overlap. If you think of any brand that you're familiar with, Huda Beauty, Too Faced, Kylie Cosmetics, Say, Kosas, Winky Lux, I guarantee you we have at least one manufacturer in common, really and truly, because there are not that many, like I said, cosmetic manufacturers. And also, all of these manufacturers have their areas of expertise, and some areas of expertise are harder for manufacturers to adopt. I'll give you an example. A retractable pencil, like our lip liner pencil, the universe of manufacturers who have the machinery to create something like this is actually quite small, which means if I've got a retractable pencil and a brand over there has a retractable pencil, the chances of us making this pencil in the same place are quite large, okay? Because there just aren't that many manufacturers who make it. I'll contrast that to something like a lipstick. Lipsticks are relatively easy to make. We started out making ours literally in our apartments. So most manufacturers have the ability to make a lipstick, which means the chances of me having overlap with another brand for lipstick is much smaller just because there's a wider universe of manufacturers they can go to. But the truth of the matter is, even the big brands that have their own manufacturing plants, they don't make 100% of their products at those manufacturing plants for the same reason I just mentioned. Different manufacturers have different levels of expertise. It's very expensive to try and make every single product at one plant. The machinery you need to make a pressed powder like a bronzer versus a pencil like this versus a liquid versus like a finely milled powder, it's a lot of different machinery. And so most places have an area of expertise. Most places maybe will say, all right, even if I've got my own manufacturing plant, I'm going to try and make sure I can do 80% of my SKUs here, or, my real hero categories here, and everything else I'm going to outsource to contract manufacturers because it's too expensive for me to have all of that machinery in-house, which means, again, we're all using the same folks. Now, what does that mean for you as a consumer? Honestly, not that much. If it, for some reason, makes you feel a little weird knowing that there's so much overlap in the industry, just trust it's not really about where a product is made. It's about the ingredients. It's about what's used when it's made. And best brands, high quality brands are really focused on the ingredient story, which means they're going to hold whatever manufacturer they're using to a really high standard. In Minted's case, our standard is every product is vegan, every product is non-toxic, every product is cruelty-free. That's our standard. Some brands have different standards. Some brands have clean standards that are really intensive. We have a long blacklist, and by that I mean restricted list of ingredients we won't use and put in our products. Some brands have an even longer list. Some brands, are fully natural, which means their shelf life is like 2 months because they don't want to use any preservatives. But what matters is, what is it that you are holding your brand to? What's the standard you're holding your brand to? And then you can work with your manufacturer, whoever it is, whether they make stuff for other brands or not, you can hold them to that standard. So I would say as a consumer, nothing to worry about just because e.l.f. might be making their stuff in the same place as Chanel. It doesn't mean that Chanel stuff isn't worth more. Now, yes, for Chanel, you're paying a lot for the brand, but it doesn't mean their stuff isn't worth more if they are being really conscious about the ingredients, using more expensive ingredients, using cleaner ingredients. It can still be worth that price tag. So it's nothing to worry about, but it is just something to know. We are all working with the same folks. Beauty industry secret number 2, product innovation. A lot of brands love to tout how innovative they are from a product perspective. We were in development for 2 years. We put our best people on this project. We've been heads down working on this innovation. Oftentimes, the innovation that you're seeing in the industry is not coming from the brand, it's coming from the manufacturer. It's really manufacturers that oftentimes, particularly the bigger ones, that have whole R&D and innovation departments to come up with new formula types, new applicator types, new ways to mix this sort of formulation with this one and give you basically a whole new product. A lot of times it's manufacturers doing that and then selling brands on that new innovation. And then it becomes a race to market. Which brand can get that new innovation to market first? Now, again, what does this mean for you? Not that much. It's okay if whatever brand you love says, we've been innovating on this for 2 years, and what they really mean is the manufacturer innovated for 2 years, and we spent the last 6 months rushing to get it to market and putting our brand name spin on it. That's okay. Either way, it is innovative, so I don't think it cheapens anything for you. I will say for my part with Minted, the biggest product flop I ever had, and we've had products flop. Every brand has had a product flop. The biggest product flop I have ever had was a product that I was convinced to launch by my manufacturer because it was an innovation that they had come up with. And, I liked it. I'm not placing any blame on them. I liked it. I thought it was so cool. It was a kind of a liquid jelly highlighter, like not quite liquid, not quite a gel, kind of in between. It was kind of a putty consistency. And we had 3 shades, and I thought it was great. And it was very innovative at the time. This was, 2018 or something. And flop. Immediate flop. Like there were, 100 people who loved it and everyone else was like, we don't get it. And in some ways, I think maybe it was a bit ahead of its time. I think it may have done better in this environment in 2024. But also it wasn't customer centric. The Minted customer probably was never really going to get that product. Our customer likes easy, simple products that she knows are going to work, that she immediately understands, that are good for her skin, are good for mature skin. We have a lot of mature customers. They're not necessarily trying to play around and figure out how does this jelly consistency formula, whatever. And so I'm glad I learned that lesson early, because I never after that just took a product from a manufacturer's innovation and put it to market. Now, manufacturers are always showing you new things and they're always working on new things. And I appreciate that because it is helping push the industry forward in terms of formulations. However, I, since that product, have never just taken something and, put my name on it and said like, okay, we're going to do the Minted version of this, because it just didn't work. But there are a lot of brands that do that. And I think if you're a brand that can do that, like your customer base is known for wanting the innovation, the newest, shiniest thing like that's out there, then your brand is a really great vehicle for all of that. My brand was not, and I'm glad I learned that lesson early. But it is just another sort of widely known secret that a lot of innovation doesn't actually start with the brands. It starts with the manufacturers. All right, and the third beauty industry secret that I want to share is actually, quite personal, which is I assumed before getting into this industry that it would be so competitive and maybe even a little catty. And I think I thought that because that's the message that people want to put out there about women-led industries, right? And about women in general, that we're catty and we can't get along. But the truth of the matter is I have found, particularly for indie beauty brands, this community is very collaborative, very supportive, very helpful. When I've needed help with, I have a manufacturer acting crazy and telling me these are the terms and whatever, I can call up Natalie over at Winky Lux and ask for advice. When I'm not sure about something that I might be talking about with one of my retail partners, I can call Melissa over at The Lip Bar or Cashmere over at Beauty Bakery and get their advice. I have really found this community to be supportive and collaborative, not competitive. And again, I am mostly speaking about indie beauty brands. I can't speak to the big conglomerates. Amongst indie beauty brands, I really think the feeling is that we are not competing with each other, right? We're trying to take market share from L'Oreal, from Estee Lauder, from Coty, from the big juggernauts that are doing billions in revenue and together have, 70% of the market. That's who we're trying to take market share from. We're also trying to expand the market. I know for Mented, we got comments all the time, particularly when we were first launching, from people saying, I never really wore makeup, but your makeup feels like approachable. It feels like it was meant for me. So we weren't just taking market share, we were expanding the market. And I think a lot of indie brand owners feel that way. Like, we're not trying to take from one another. We're trying to expand. And if anyone, we're trying to take from those big guys up there, right? So we can afford to be collaborative and we can afford to help one another because we feel that our brand positioning is strong enough that the customers that are meant for us will come to us and the customers that are meant for you will come to you. And there will be nice overlap and play because I can't name a single person who only shops one beauty brand, right? So it's one of those things that I think was a false assumption I had coming in, but I have found the industry to be honestly quite supportive and collaborative. Case in point, I'm currently wearing a Beauty Bakery whip lip. This is their shade Cranberry Stiletto. You guys, as long as you've seen me, have probably never seen me do a red lip. It's not something I do that frequently, but this one is so gorgeous. It's just, it's undeniable. I'm probably not wearing it right. I'm sure there are going to be people in the comments like, girl, you need a lip liner and you need a okay. That's okay. Maybe I will next time, but I still think it's beautiful. And I like to support my beauty friends. So anyway, those are just a few secrets from the beauty industry. Do you want to hear more? Let me know in the comments. And as always, if you love this sort of content, be sure to subscribe. I'll see you next time.